LTV Action Sports is funded in part by Richardson Funeral Home at www.richardsonfuneralhome.net.
From inside the gym at Leominster High School, we say a very good evening, everyone, as we welcome you courtside to the broadcast this evening here on Rivalry Family Media. Alongside Kate Robbins, Todd Robbins, happy to have you along with us. It's Panthers and Blue Devils. It is the last day for girls basketball in Pod 6 regular season action. This one couldn't be more important. The Panthers come in with a 7-1 overall record. For them, a win or a loss likely doesn't change their fate all that dramatically. They will finish and get a home game in the first round of the playoffs. The question really to come for the Panthers, are they the top seed or are they the second seed? They would certainly like a win tonight to eliminate any questions in that regard. Meanwhile, for the Blue Devils, not much will change for them either way. A win or a loss doesn't seem like it will dramatically change their position. They'll finish in the third spot. They'll play either at Quabbin or at Fitchburg in the opening round of action. Kate, great to have you along with us courtside. Here we are, Blue Devils and Panthers, an important game for Leominster. This could be their first round opponent. They certainly need the win tonight, if for nothing else, for the confidence boost.
And we certainly made that speculation earlier in the week, Todd. We thought that there was a distinct possibility that Leominster and Quabbin could play back to back to back, all within about a week and a half span. And so they have Leominster right now has a 50-50 shot of doing that. It all depends on how Quabbin and Fitchburg's Red Raiders perform this evening. So we're going to be intently taking a look at what's going on in Fitchburg's game against, I believe, Narragansett is who they have on their schedule. So assuming a few things, you have a situation where Leominster, as you said, could be going to Quabbin, could be going to Fitchburg. Either way, Leominster solidifying the 3 spot right now. The 4 spot still up in the air as well in girls Pod 6 action, so it'll be very interesting to see what happens there.
Meanwhile, can't ignore the story of what's going on in boys basketball either. That game out at Quabbin tonight with Leominster and Quabbin, all that important. Leominster certainly with a win would lock themselves into the 2 position, which is something that they desperately would want, as they are very likely in a 2-3 matchup with Fitchburg. The difference will be playing at home or on the road, and the last place you want to be is on the road at the Doug Grudgefield Fieldhouse in Fitchburg. We'll see what ends up coming up with that. We'll keep an eye out on boys basketball action. I'm sure we'll get some updates from our intrepid reporters out there as well as we get set for action and guide you through this one. Quabbin and Leominster girls ready to do battle here at the gym at Leominster High School, and we're looking forward to having this one for you here courtside. We'll get a chance to meet the starting lineups for the Blue Devils and the Panthers coming up in a matter of moments here inside the gym tonight.
And once again, a very good evening, everyone, and welcome inside the gym at Leominster High School. Set for tonight's matchup as the Leominster High School Blue Devils play host to the Panthers from Quabbin Regional High School. sisters from Quabbin Regional. A sophomore, number 5, Olivia Rhodes. A senior, number 13, Casey McCready. A senior, number 22, Julia Hamill. A junior, number 35, Ashley Layton. And a junior, number 42, Jordan Gilligan. The Panthers are coached by Evan Hamilton, assisted by Chris Nosek and Ryan Smith. And it's now time to meet the Leominster High School Blue Devils. At guard, a sophomore, number 4, Isabella Neva. At guard, a sophomore, number 12, Kylie Kennedy. At center, a junior, number 15, Ava McDonald. At forward, a freshman, number 25, Kyra Forsberg. Also a freshman forward, number 44, Juliana Pompey. The Blue Devils are coached by Rusty Frederick, assisted by Megan McGill. Ladies and gentlemen, will you please rise and join me for the playing of our national anthem.
And with that, we say once again a very good evening, everyone, joining you here on Rivalry Family Media. Girls basketball action, Leominster and Quabbin to close out the regular season slate in this COVID-modified Pod 6 basketball action. Kate, we've been waiting for it now for 5 weeks. We've been talking about, when is the moment? When is that time where the Blue Devils are going to have that breakout moment? Of course, a 4-0 start to their regular season certainly looked like a breakout start to their year. But since that 4-0 start, things have not gone well for Coach Rusty Frederick's squad. 2 straight losses to the arch-rival Red Raiders, a win over Oakmont, and really it ended up being a split on the week. They lost that second game against Oakmont last week on the road, and then a 44-23 loss against Quabbin on Monday night to open up this Quabbin-Leominster week.
Consistency has not been the name of the game for the Lady Blue Devils this season, so that's something that they are looking to get under control here as they go into the home stretch, and they are going to have their work cut out for them tonight, the very talented Quabbin Panther squad.
Leominster opens with first possession of the basketball and a sloppy pass right off the bat, and so much for that first possession in this one. Quabbin with the basketball, going from right to left, about 30 seconds gone by here in the first quarter. This is Layton, gets tied up with Nevard on the alternate possession. The arrow favors the Panthers. Panthers inbound from Gillian. Sets up Olivia Rose, the sophomore, runs the point. Bounces this one to the foul line. This is Layton. Layton with the left-hand dribble. She lost possession of that ball. Walked with it, no call. The rebound down in the hands of Pompey, and away we go. Pompey with Cudahy, playing catch top of the key. Not a minute gone by in this one. No score, Panthers and Blue Devils. Cudahy, the drive and drop for Forsberg. Kick across, step in the lane, ball picked by Layton. Layton tries to get ahead of the pack. Cudahy scrambles back along with Forsberg, and an offensive foul is called.
That was quite the elbow on that one, left elbow coming in there.
Indeed it was, Kate. We'll say enthusiastic.
You like the drive to the
say
basket,
least.
though. I like the aggressive
Indeed.
drive to the basket.
That's what I'm assuming Coach Behringer was referring to. Left to right go the Blue Devils in the home whites, trimmed in royal blue. Royal blue at the shoulders, the waistband, and at the bottom cuffs of the shorts. As Pompey pulls the jumper, knew it was off on release, charged in, rebound down for Rose. Rose steps on the gas, down the right side, throws on the brakes. She'll circle back for Hamill. And then right back to Rose. Sets up a three in the corner, won't go. Forsberg the rebound. Down floor, the long pass, almost jumped by Layton. Pompey dribbles into the corner. 4 Panthers trapped on that side of the floor, and Nevard tries to take on them all.
Beautiful
Missed the
job.
first, got the rebound in traffic, laid it in and good.
Nice job by Nevard to get her own rebound there and make sure that she cleaned up that drive.
Down floor, this is Gillian, 3 off the mark. Bumps into McDonald and it rolls to Pompey, who'll get credit for the rebound.
Gillen there had plenty of space. Nobody was bothering her. Same here with Nevard. But you're hoping for a little bit more of a play development. You want to be a little bit more, in my estimation, a little bit more patient, especially early on. See exactly what the defense is going to give you.
Nevard fired that 3 away, Kate, and it was well short of the mark, and she knew it right out of her fingertips. Tried to charge in, but the ball was short and out of bounds.
Quite a bit of pressure here on the inbound.
Yeah, and the dribble right through comes Hamill, although into a trap. Drops this one off for McCready. Coach Rusty Frederick enthusiastically engaged. Here's the drive, tried the reverse. That one won't go for Hamill, and loose ball finds its way to Cudahy.
Looking for help.
Yeah, found Forsberg, give and go. Cudahy slashed the lane, no finish at the rim. McDonald the putback, not able to finish. And out with the rebound comes Olivia Rose for the Panthers. And she's able to clear some space.
Blue Devils no points there, but I like multiple bites at the apple here for Leominster on offense in the last possession or two.
3 minutes gone by and just 2-0, says the scoreboard. Three-pointer away, that one won't go short. Ball up, missed everything again. Kate, is it bad that in our conversation somehow I missed the 2? Here's the drive for Cudahy, the foul is called, and
I
2
missed.
shots coming up.
I missed it as well.
And they charge the foul to Rose. Her first.
Things can sometimes get chaotic. That's all. Grace, right? You said give ourselves some grace.
Indeed. Cudahy missed that one off the left side. 4:39 to play here in the first quarter.
Leominster is going to need to really take advantage of these free opportunities because Quabbin has been so good for the duration of the season. When you get a freebie, you need to convert.
That one won't go. Tie up on the rebounding action. Alternate possession. It's Leominster's ball.
Neither team looking really sharp right now, in my estimation.
I agree. I wouldn't run right to that description.
A lot of looking around right now.
This is Boulay. For Nevard, tries to gun to the baseline, it got deflected, found its way to Tresoloni. She missed the shot, tie up on the rebound, and they say McDonald comes over the back.
So that'll be Leominster's first.
Ball tipped away. This is Nevard on the pick, shorted the rebound, missed opportunities galore. That's what's been marked in this first quarter, halfway through quarter one.
And as we said, because Quabbin sits atop the pod right now. Leominster really needing to play clean basketball, especially on offense. They're really going to need to take advantage of any and every opportunity that they
Drive
get.
and lay in. This one will go for Gillian. Kate, I just took a look at the averages here. Quabbin averages near 50 points a game, 47.6. About a half a point ahead of Fitchburg, who's in the second position. They only allow 33 points per game, which is 3 more points per game than the second place team Red Raiders. It's also 3 more than Leominster allows, and an average of about 30.4 per matchup. That one gets deflected out of bounds, and the ball will go this time
And
back
again,
to the Panthers.
right now, if Leominster wants to, become victorious in this one, again, because Quabbin doesn't make mistakes on defense.
Nevard with the pick this time. Guns across to Boulay. Back top of the key, Pompey fires away. Oh, halfway down and in and out. That one won't go. To the floor. Kept alive by Pompey from Rose, and Leominster keeps the chaos moving. Feeds Marwa, missed the lay-in. This one chased down loose by Hamill, and now Hamill is just smothered. Found a way out of trouble, though, and found Doyle. And the freshman Doyle will take the ball down floor. Hamill inside out through Gillian to the corner. Shot away for Doyle, out of bounds, and the ball back to Leominster.
And already early in this one, you've been mentioning Gillen a few times already. She seems to be incredibly active in the paint for the Panthers, doing a nice job kind of playing spoiler down by the boards.
Pompey will join Nevard on a break. And so Coach Frederick will shift the action. McDonald back in. Cudahy running the point. She'll bounce it over the near side looking for Boulay, and it's up out of bounds. And Coach Rusty Frederick says we got to take a timeout and try to figure things out. We're at 2-all, Kate. 2:45 to play here in the first quarter, but unbalanced, chaotic.
Yeah.
Disconcerting, any of those describe the action thus far?
I would say all of the above, and right now, within the last 15 seconds of play clock or game clock, Coach Frederick has become absolutely incensed on the sideline. He's taken this timeout and he's laying in to his team. They've had a lot of opportunities right now that they could have taken advantage of and gotten a lead. He knows that not only do they need to, win every quarter, they need to win every possession, especially because Quabbin has had such prolific defense in their games. And so he's seeing these points, just kind of opportunities slipping away early on. This is where you really want to, number one, build your confidence and set your tempo for your entire game. So I think it's a nice job by Coach Frederick. Take the timeout, try to settle things down, because settled is not the way that I would describe the action right now.
I agree with you wholeheartedly, Kate. They certainly seem unbalanced, disconcerted, not quite comfortable with where they're at. And 5 weeks into the season, modified or not, you feel like they would feel a little more settled with where they are. And unfortunately, not the case at this moment in time. But this goes back to that young squad Coach Rusty Frederick talks about.
And I think that you're right. I think that they are also right now the beneficiaries of the same things are going on the other side of the ball. Quabbin's going through exactly the same things. And so I really do feel like, it's one of those situations where Coach Frederick sees an opportunity and wants his girls to seize it. He wants them to, if Quabbin's starting the first quarter a little bit off kilter, we need to take advantage of it. We can't be just as complacent. We need to not only play up to our competition, but if they're a little bit off starting the game, we need to play above it. And right now he's seeing those opportunities kind of just go by the wayside.
Foul on the rebounding action, and this one works its way back as Leominster will reset. Ball thrown away there. And the ball will go back to Quabbin. So you get another opportunity with the reach-in foul, Kate, and then you turn around and throw the ball away on the possession.
And errant passes especially is something that we've seen from the boys and the girls of Leominster this year. And so that's something, those unforced errors are what kind of become most frustrating for a coach, because you have a situation where, it's not as if you go up for a rebound and something gets tipped. This is a situation where, it's absolutely controllable.
Indeed it is, but right now, both teams struggling to get anything going. This is Boulay. Draws a screen from Marwa, then McDonald. Swinging around for Cudahy. Cudahy gets loose, 3 away. Short to the front rim, battle for the rebound. This one's pulled down by Hamill. Loose ball pokes away, ends up back in the control of Leominster. This is Smith. Smith has it tipped away. And to the floor goes Gillian.
Gillen again, hearing that name over and over.
3 away, no check it. It's a long 2 put away for Layton. It's the third bucket of the basketball game. It's 4-2 Quabbin, 90 seconds to play here in the first quarter. I think for both teams, they'll consider it a victory just to make it to the end of the quarter and restart some things as McDonald walks unguarded, and the ball will go back to Quabbin.
So it's back-to-back possessions again with Leominster on defense, on offense, pardon me, with unforced errors. Quabbin not even having to essentially defend in both of the last 2 offensive possessions for Leominster because they're forcing the turnover all by themselves.
Indeed they are. New into the game this time. That was Olsen. With Hamill and then Doyle. Doyle goes into the corner, the freshman. She's gonna be wide open. Swing, thought about the 3, head fake, baseline drive. Got tied up by Marwa, and the alternate possession, it's Panther basketball. Doyle thought she got tied up and thought she was gonna get called for the walk as she came back down with it. Instead, she'll have an inbound, foul line extended. Minute 10 to play here in the first quarter.
Ooh, she thought she had the look.
Yeah, and pulled it down again. This is Olsen who fires away. No help on the rebound, and down comes with it is Marwa.
My favorite is when Marwa gets those rebounds.
Wide open on the low block once again. Loose ball inside. McDonald loses it to the floor. And Coach Beringer enthusiastically gets the timeout in support of Layton. 50 and 4/10 seconds to play here in the first quarter, a 4-2 lead for the Panthers. Kate, I'm starting to detect a theme here.
Oh.
Ugly but functional is how I would describe what has been going on out on the floor. It's not beautiful. It's certainly not going to win in the poetry battle of basketball, but right now it's functional for Coach Beringer's Panthers.
I mean, functional. If we're taking a look that they have the lead. I mean, 4 points for almost the entirety of the first quarter. I mean, you're potentially looking at 12 points being the winning number for the entirety of the basketball game. I don't necessarily think that he would consider that aspect of things a victory, or pardon me, 16 points rather, for an entire basketball game. So I think on both sides of the ball, neither coach is going to be happy with the offensive production, but I think that Coach Beringer is going to see, hey, you kept them to 2 points. We got to figure out our offense, continue to play hard on defense, continue to make things happen, continue to force errors on behalf of the Blue Devils, and I'm assuming he's hoping that their offense will figure itself out in short order. Leominster, same thing. They've held a prolific Quabbin team to only 4 points, but their offense has been, in a word, abysmal. Abysmal at this point.
Pick your favorite. This one tip.
I think
defense continues to create opportunities.
I think both teams will figure out a little bit more offensive production as things get settled.
Boulay pulls it down, drives the lane, drew contact, no call. Pompey on the doorstep with a cleat up lay-in. We're knotted at 4. 33 seconds to play here in the first.
There's that full court pressure that we saw Fitchburg have such.
Layton found Olsen, knocked down by Pompey, out of bounds. Panthers keep the basketball, 25 and 2/10 to play here in the first quarter. 22 to shoot. There is a 3-second differential, shot clock to game clock, and Coach Beringer has already called out for a hold for the last shot, so they're going to try to cycle the ball. Bounce inside. Layton tied up, and Marwa gives the foul. It's her first. Team second, build to Leominster. The bounce inbounds, it's Rose. For Doyle. Back to Rose, foul line. Layton had some help, tried to get it to Hamill. It got there, but too late. The double team closed in. Shot clock off, 5 seconds to play here in the first. Turnaround, Rose tries every direction, fires it up. She got rim. It was good if it went. It did not, and that is the way the first quarter will close. Through 1 here at the gym at Leominster High School. Leominster 4, Quabbin 4. Interesting first half, Kate. Interesting, I think, is going to be the name of the game. I remind you of the stats we mentioned coming in. Quabbin, a 7-1 team coming in. averaging 47.5 points per game, allowing 33 1/3 points per game. Meanwhile, Leominster in this situation, 36 points scored per game, almost 37, 36.8 points per game, and allowing 30.4 points per game. What we're seeing, Kate, is pretty much par for the course. Low scoring, a lot of defense, kind of an ongoing filibuster between both teams, just running out time, caught somewhere in the middle of the floor and not able to finish at the rim.
Yeah, and you're right. Right now, the same ailment plaguing both teams. So I think that the coaching staffs are having similar conversations with each. You're seeing a little bit more demonstrative nature out of Coach Frederick right now than we've seen, generally in the last few games. So that'll be interesting to see how his girls respond. Pardon me, Quabbin. Sorry about that.
No, you're good.
Quabbin's coaching staff seeming quite a bit more composed. They don't look panicked at all, neither does their team. So going to be interesting to see. I'm going to need to breathe for a second.
Yeah,
so,
no, you're good. We'll cover you here. Kate takes a bit of a breather as we continue with you courtside. Todd Robbins, Kate Robbins, happy to have you along with us here for Rivalry Family Media on a Thursday night closing out, as they call it, closing day here of the old COVID-modified regular season schedule. We begin the start of the second quarter. Leominster will inbound the basketball from the spot located directly in front of us.
You got that quarter for me?
Indeed I do.
Thank you.
Not a problem at all.
I think I aspirated on nothing.
That happens from time to time.
A turnover there, another unforced error. Neither team being able to get anything going. So Leominster getting the ball back. They're fortunate to do so.
Just underway here with quarter two. Teams knotted at 4, 7:48 to play here in the second. Pompey inbound for Forsberg. Back and forth they go. Bounce pass, now into the corner. This is Marwa, stepped around a defender, shot caught the corner of the rim, won't go, but Forsberg the uncontested rebound. Then through Smith, then Marwa rifles one up there at hard off glass, and it's Gillen again, Kate.
Yeah, I mean, every single time, both on offense and defense, we tend to be saying her name. She is absolutely everywhere.
Out of bounds, Hamill drove the baseline, had an opening to find Rose at the top of the key, and she stepped on the end line, and the ball will go back to Leominster.
The amount of turnovers and unforced errors far exceed the points on offense for either team right now. So right now, it's not about who makes the least number of mistakes. It's just who stops making mistakes at this point.
Agreed. Pompey falling down, got it over to Marwa. Kept the possession alive, and then a walk call.
We have gone through an entire minute of the quarter, and every single possession for both teams an unforced error. Every single one.
As we wind just under the first minute of the second quarter. This is Rose with the pirouette, gave up the dribble and walked right back. Kate, I think this is what I've come to conclude at this point in time. Both teams are going far too fast. They're going far too fast for their skill level. And no matter how good you may be, your record at this point, 5 weeks into the season, you're just going too fast. And so you're out of control. And the out of control is causing the turnovers. The defense can go sit down when you're that far out of control. This is Pompey, then Cudahy. Into the corner, Marwa. The three is short, rattled the rim, battle for the basketball on the baseline. Nevard came out with it, bodies to the floor, held ball called, alternate possession, ball's going to Quabbin.
Both of those young ladies hitting the floor hard, but both getting right up.
And that's the good
They're
news.
tougher than I am.
Yeah, I was going to say, they both appear to be all right. Up floor, this is Gillen. Out of bounds, deflected off of Pompey. Quabbin basketball, 6.5 to play here in the second quarter. We're knotted at 4.
So we're, 90 seconds in, still knotted at 4?
Indeed. Here's the drive, Rose. Push shot, corner of the glass, no good. Walk called on the rebounding action. Ball back to the Panthers.
Yep. We're just gonna make that a take it or leave it. We're just
Indeed.
gonna leave that.
Here's Rose inside. Bassett sees her first action. Short on the shot. Pompey the rebound. Pompey's had enough. She's going to take control on her own. Front court she goes with it and then drops it off for Nevard. Nevard guns it into traffic. Knockdown somehow found Marwa. Back for Nevard. The hard bounce. She walked with it. Send the ball back to the Panthers. Ping pong violations through the first 2 minutes of the second quarter. Somebody better get some form of defibrillator because I think both coaches are going to need it.
Yeah, I think you're right. Honestly, I think that's essentially where we're going to be, that the amount of frustration is going to boil over on both sides of the basketball.
Doyle misses the shot, Rose the rebound, loose ball run down by Hamill. Hamill caught in a double team. She has got nowhere to go. She's trying to clear traffic, bodies to the floor. They call a held ball. The alternate possession is going to favor Leominster. 5:36 to play in the second quarter. 4 up.
It's been an interesting quarter.
5:35 to play in the second. Here we go.
So no points scored right now. We are 2.5 minutes into the second quarter.
Nevard, the drive. She got some space. And the lay-in goes. 6-4, and that one looked pretty. And the full court pressure, and Forsberg forces the turnover. Out of bounds. They say Leominster with the last touch. And so the inbound will belong to Quabbin again. Leominster will pressure the basketball.
And we saw that full court pressure that Fitchburg came into Leominster High School with just about a week and a half ago, and it was incredibly effective. And now we're seeing Leominster trying to use it to their advantage as well against what is right now the #1 seed in Pod 6.
Jumper for Rose. Finally got a clean look, and she buried it.
That was beautiful.
Somebody finally pulled the pin on the excitement in this one. 7-6. Bounce it inside. McDonald deflected it out of bounds. Last touch to Panther. Nice hustle effort there for Megan Doyle.
And for, oh yeah, Megan Doyle. Yep, you're right. I was looking at the wrong side of the chart.
That's all right, it happens.
It's like, wait a sec.
Forsberg from foul line extended.
Now, mind you, everything that we're describing is not for lack of effort. Everything that we've seen, in fact, we've seen a great deal of effort on both sides of the ball. And sometimes, like you said, even with that extensive amount of effort, sometimes things just go off the rails. And right now, that's what we're seeing.
The last 30 seconds have brought a little bit of the poetry back. Let's see if both teams can maintain that momentum. It's Forsberg for McDonald. Not so much, the giveaway. This is Layton for Hamill. Hamill drives to the baseline, spins it out of trouble, and Hamill thought she was still being followed. Maintained composure. Gets it right back from Rose. Tipped by Pompey. Into traffic, Leominster basketball. Here comes Forsberg. Doyle picks her pocket from behind to the floor. Doyle, the only Panther there. She gets picked up like a piece of luggage.
Last two defensive possessions, though, Doyle has been in the mix, throwing her body around with reckless abandon, doing a phenomenal job going after that ball. And again, the effort has been tremendous on both sides.
Indeed it is. 4:05 to play in the second quarter.
Now it's about
7-6.
Now it's about finishing.
Indeed. Here's Layton down the lane. Foul called. Nevard's a little frustrated. Coach Frederick says you came over the top on that one. And so that's going to send Layton to the line. 2 seconds, Kate. That's how much came off the clock on that one. Line drive, Layton in. With that kind of frequency of whistles and stoppage in play, whether it's for a violation, a foul call, or anything else, it kind
of
of
be a long night.
Yeah, A, a long night, and B, it just the game doesn't find its natural rhythm.
Yeah, there's no flow.
Line drive into the front of the rim, no. Ball closed in on its Layton. There's another foul call.
2 seconds.
And another 2 seconds come off the clock. And Layton's got 2 more from the line. Like sands through the hourglass, these are the days of our lives.
Just know it's going to be a long night. That's okay.
Line drives that one in. Layton
We don't
gets
have
that one to
anywhere
go.
to be.
No, indeed we do not. In some ways, though, when you have this kind of a game, it feels very restricting on the players. The players just can't seem to find their flow. Leighton line drives that one in. It's not a big swooping arc. It's got a lot of spin on it, and it lines right for the rim. That one over top of it. The lead is 4 for the Panthers at 10-6. 3:45 to play in the second quarter. This is Cudahy. Through Pompey, then Boulay, and into the corner. It's tipped away from Nivard. Tried to step through 3 defenders. I don't like your odds.
Well, I don't like your odds, but the zone that Quabbin has put up on their defensive end has been fairly prolific. Leominster still trying to figure out the puzzle pieces, how to penetrate into that zone.
Coach Frederick trying to steer the defense. Meanwhile, this is a drive down the lane for Leighton. Fouled again, and Leighton's going to the line to shoot 2.
Now all of a sudden those fouls starting to pile up. Leominster just less than a minute ago only had 2. Now they're all the way up to 5, and Leighton's been to the charity stripe 5 going on 6 times already.
That one won't go for Leighton. Kate, I hate to point out the obvious. You said a minute ago. It hasn't even been a minute.
No, I know. I was rounding.
Leighton at the line as the free throw shooters will step in. Become a sight we're used to seeing in COVID modifications. Second one goes for Leighton. 11-6, the lead is 5.
Leominster is going to need to be careful here because it's been such a low-scoring affair. 5 points in a normal game may not feel like all that much, but right now it's a mountain.
Cudahy flips that one up, got the rim, not much more, but Leominster get another opportunity on the possession. This bounces its way back out. Pompey to Cudahy again. She thought about it, maybe thought twice, sent it to Smith. She fired up the shot. She got bumped this time by Hamill. They said it was in the act of shooting, and I believe the signal, Kate, was 3 shots coming up here.
I heard 3 as well.
So that will send Smith to the line. Good opportunity. She drew the defender in Hamill, and a fortuitous opportunity to draw the foul.
Another opportunity to talk about the COVID modification because we're going to see it 2 times back-to-back here, Todd.
The first one won't go for Smith. Sporting the 90s high tops there, Kate. Got the 90s kind of Malibu pink going on.
You do love
Second one, that one goes.
You do love your footwear fashion, if nothing else. Here come all of her friends.
Indeed, everyone will close the lane this time. Laura Young seeing some of her first action on the floor for Leominster. Second one won't go. Battle for the rebound. Dribbled out of trouble by Hamill.
There's a third one won't go, remember?
Oh, indeed, that is correct. The drive down the lane, tipped away. So 1 of 3 on that trip for Smith.
Yep.
She gets knocked out of the way, and the ball gets swatted, and they say she had last touch. It'll be Quabbin basketball. Leominster with the full court pressure. Cudahy bounces from ball carrier to ball carrier. To the near side, now it's Leighton. And she walked with it.
That'll be a walk.
2:34 to play in the second, and Coach Evan Barringer, he'll spend a timeout. 2:34 to play in the second, 11-7, the lead for Quabbin here in the second quarter. Kate, we've been mentioning it since right off the top of the broadcast. Good opportunity here to take a look at what does this Pod 6 playoff bracket look like. The girls bracket on the top, boys bracket on the bottom. You've seen a standard 4-team bracket, 1 plays 4, 2 plays 3. So that part, the known quantities.
It's just who's filling the
Correct.
spots.
Who will fill those slots? We'll find out by the end of the night.
Leominster's the only one that we know for sure. Leominster has the 3 seed.
I would say that is a safe bet, and they'll go on the road to either Fitchburg or Quabbin. Meanwhile, those games in the semifinal for girls will be played on Tuesday, February the 16th. On the boys' side, the 1-4, 2-3 matchup will be played on Wednesday, February 17th. The pod final for girls will come up on Thursday, February 18th, and then the pod final for boys on Friday, February 19th. Translation, from Tuesday through Friday, put it on your calendar. We've got basketball action for you in all 4 games. We'll be right here on Ravelry Family Media. We'll have a game in each of those rounds, each of those nights. We're looking forward to it.
Translation, Todd's put a lot of things on my social calendar for February vacation. Thank you, dear.
It is a basketball-cation coming up next week.
We might have to have a graphic for that basketball-cation week.
We do also thank some fantastic partners. We're working out some different opportunities and an opportunity, obviously, to cover the games, whether they're here at the gym at Leominster High School or elsewhere. Looking forward to have the matchup with whoever makes those pod finals as well for boys and girls. And do it all from the safety of our Rivalry Family Media studio. Shot is away for Cudahy. That one won't go. Boulay tries the putback. Then Marwa tries. That one won't go either. And Hamel will come out with it. 2:10 to play in the second quarter. Looks long distance down floor. Nobody able to run it down. That one goes back to Leominster.
What I like there for Leominster, 3 bites at the apple on offense. Although they don't get any points out of it. 3 attempts at the basket. So nice job with some offensive rebounding action. And then in transition, Quabbin making the unforced error. So I understand no points there, no unforced errors for Leominster, and they had multiple attempts at the basket on offense. I like that very much if I'm Coach Rusty Frederick.
Marwa, the runner. Not gonna work. Somehow comes out with the rebound though. There's no way that she should have that basketball.
She's like a wizard in there. It's crazy.
Pompey finds Cudahy at the shot clock. It won't go, but it does reset on the rebound. This one comes down in LaRue's hands, and then Smith gets called for the grab.
The masterful rebounding action that Marwa is able to have. Physically impossible, some of the things that she is able to accomplish with her height. I feel like she just gets lost. People just don't know where she is, and she fits into such, compact spaces, and then all of a sudden she's like, oh, hey, I'll take the ball, thanks.
I'm thinking right place, right time, Kate. That is the story of Sabina
crafty.
Marwa. She finds herself in the right place at the right time. She gets to the spot she needs to get to. 1:34 to play here in the second. Oh, no doubt about it. 11-7, the lead for Quabbin. Leominster's got the basketball. The inbound foul line extended to our right. And Boulay will find Cudahy. They play catch at the top of the key. Bounce and the giveaway, and Coach Frederick was not hit by sniper fire. That was frustration, audibly thrown out. 3-pointer away for Gillian, won't go.
Once again, Gillen in the action.
And then Doyle gives it right back. 1:10 to play here in the second. Coach Frederick will make some personnel changes here. Goes a little maybe offense for defense, or a little bit of maybe veteran leadership out there on the floor. Brings Nevard back in for Cudahy. Final minute of the second quarter, and giveaway. Loose ball. Doyle gets bailed out.
Timeout.
Coach Beringer spends the timeout. 58 seconds flat left here in the second quarter. Leominster's lead is 11-7. So many ways to be a part of this one, and so great to have you joining us here. We welcome our viewers joining us from Barrie and the surrounding regions out west of here tonight, further down Route 2 or further up Route 2, depending on your perspective. Great to have you joining us here tonight. We are looking forward to seeing how this one brings itself to a close, as it has been, again, a curious first half of action, to say the least, as we are 58 seconds away from that first half mass break.
According to my calculations, Quabbin now down to 2 timeouts, and now we're starting to see the coaching staff get much more demonstrative on their side of the ball. They now, in the last week of the regular season, should be ramping up their play, getting ready for that pod postseason. Right now, they're in the catbird seat. They're either the 1 or the 2. So they know that they're going to be hosting. And right now, having 11 points going into the final minute of the first half is not the type of basketball you want to be playing if you're looking to be first or second seed in this pod 6 playoff action coming up. They've got to be a lot more sharp. They've got to clean things up, and you're seeing the coaching staff for Quabbin really starting to tighten things up. They're becoming a little bit more demonstrative. They need their players to respond.
Here we go. They've got the basketball and about a 30-second differential. Shot clock to game clock. Doyle gets an opening in the left wing. Hard in and out. Rebound for Nevard. 40 seconds to play in the second quarter, so about a 10-second differential now. Swing from Marwa from Nevard. Tipped away, loose Pompey. Turnaround shot, hard in and out. Marwa down with it. Marwa puts it back. And Leominster gets off of 7. They've been stuck there for about half of the second quarter.
Quabbin slowing things down.
Shot clock off here until that halftime mask break. A 2-point basketball game. Corner. Rose. Hamill. Doyle. Gillen. 3. No. Loose ball. Hamill out with it. Shot won't go. Draws the foul with just a second left in this first half. She's got 2 shots coming her way. Pompey will get called for the foul. And the first one just short for Hamill.
Another area on both sides of the ball tonight in need of a little bit of improvement. Again, both teams giving up a lot of free points. A lot of free points.
Without question, Kate.
There are going to be plenty of things to work on in practice this weekend. Well, not this weekend, but going into pod playoffs next week.
Somebody was on autopilot from pre-COVID times. The inbound for Boulay.
How dare I? How dare I?
And the final second and a half runs off the clock.
I wonder if there will be an exception going into the pod playoffs if they get to practice on the weekend.
That's a good question. At the half.
Otherwise, Coach Frederick is going to have them here for about 11 billion hours on Monday.
Indeed.
And same thing with Quabbin's coaching staff.
Quabbin 12, Leominster 9 through 1 half here inside the gym at Leominster High School. We take a break, second half action. When we come back, this is RFM. Back inside the gym at Leominster High School, halftime mask break has concluded. And great to have you back along with us as well. And our first opportunity, Kate, to say hello to everyone joining us at our courtside broadcast position. A very good evening to you. Certainly has been quite the first half of action. A 12-9 Quabbin lead. Top team in this pod continues to control and dominate the action. The question will be, both coaches adjourned to neutral corners. What have they drawn up for the second half? That's what we're going to find out.
I did hear from the Quabbin coaching staff. Obviously, they have quite a bit of changing that they want to, changes they want to see implemented. But the biggest thing was have fun. Have fun. You can tell Quabbin's starting to get tight out there.
Forsberg on the low block, couldn't get that one to finish. Then there's a battle on the rebounding action. The tie up, and the arrow favors Quabbin. And here comes Leominster with that full court pressure once again. I kind of want to turn Coach Frederick and Coach Beringer loose. They have been literally defending from their sidelines. The turnaround shot goes for Gillen. 30 seconds gone by here in the third quarter, 14-9. Quabbin expands their lead.
And I think for Quabbin, if you are on Quabbin, if they get a couple more of those to fall, I think you'll see them start to loosen up and have a little bit more fun.
Pompey runs out of real estate. Hamill with the great defensive play to block her off. Out of bounds, Pompey, ball back to Quabbin.
And again, only a 2.5-minute mask break, but you're already seeing a little bit more life out of the Panthers already. Things starting to go in the right direction for them at the moment, very early on in the second half.
McCready returned to the action there, had a touch, ball swung around, found its way to Leighton, and Leighton, if at first you don't succeed, catch and put it up again, and that one will go.
I think if they score again here in the early going that easily, I think you're going to see Coach Frederick have to take a timeout very early on here in the third.
Cuddy to Forsberg.
Just think about it, the entire first quarter, they only had 4 points.
Nevard bounced loose and lays it in. Lead is down to 5 once again.
Now we're cooking with gas.
Indeed, both teams found a little offense. 6.5 to play here in the third. The screen from Hamill opens up Gillen, who cross-courts it to Coach Beringer. Ball out of bounds.
Don't think that was the intended.
To the Blue Devils. No, it was not. I think she expected player to kind of do the little V cut. They were supposed to go in and then bounce back out to be there for the pass, and the V went one way and not the other, and you could see one of Coach Beringer's assistant coaches, I think it's Coach Nosek over there, kind of saying the same thing. One went one way and one went the other. As Nevard splits the defenders, a little out of control, but draws the foul. They call the block against Rose, and 2 shots for Nevard.
And once again here, Leominster very much in need of these points from their leader in Nevard.
And shakes that one off and maybe body Englished it in as well, Kate. That one will drop and make it a 4-point basketball game once again.
They count even if they're not pretty.
That's right.
They'll take them any way they can get them.
And the second one goes, and there's a lane violation called against, I believe it was the shooter. I think this one was billed against Nevard.
Yep.
So her foot crossed the foul line. The lead is 4. That's the important note for the Blue Devils. And I think, Kate, at this point, somewhere, as we're now 2 minutes into this third quarter, if Leominster's going to make a dent in this one and have an opportunity, they absolutely need to equalize this game, I would say by the halfway mark, and perhaps at least one time bring themselves over the top to try to show themselves they can do it.
I think you're absolutely right. I think they're in a make or break point in time here. Very, very.
Hamill, the runner at the shot clock buzzer, and it's a shot clock violation. Ball back to Leominster.
Leominster should be breathing a little bit of a sigh of relief because Quabbin still dealing with several unforced errors, so keeping Leominster in this game, even though the offensive production has ramped up for Quabbin and things looking a little bit smoother for them. 2 unforced errors back to back.
Tries to pressure the basketball with the cross court. It got deflected out of bounds off a Panther. Leominster keeps. Sure passes. That is the name of the game right now, Kate. Got to be sure where those passes are going. This is Cudahy. Bounce to Nevard. Nevard spins off a defender, created the shot, missed everything. Hamill with the rebound. Up floor, giveaway. Cudahy with the pick. Turn the action the other way. Cudahy almost had her pocket picked as Doyle almost snuck in for another. Pompey got bumped. It rolled to Cudahy and then right back to Pompey. Cudahy open, give corner Nevard. Cross court, Pompey, there she is. Throws her body at it. Ball was deflected. She'll get another opportunity. 12 to shoot on the possession. 4:55 to play here in the third.
I like that heads-up passing by Nevard, seeing Pompey streaking into the paint fairly unobstructed. She does a nice job distributing the ball to her, but then things get a little wild in the paint. I like the idea.
Cudahy, surprise Smith going right back in the giveaway. This is Rose for Gillen. A long 3, got it on the rim. It rolled off to the right, and the rebound is for Pompey. Pompey up floor, Nevard between 3 Panthers. Somehow everything caved down to the baseline, creating the space for Nevard.
That's a nice job in transition by Leominster to make something happen incredibly quickly.
Shift left, shift right, shift left again. That's a walk. The ball will go back to Leominster. Rose tried to do a little too much on that one. 4:24 to play in the third. 2-point basketball game. Leominster a chance to tie or go ahead on the possession. Pompey throws up the 3. Top of the backboard, comes down in play. This is Hamill. And Hamill says, wait, I can dribble this one out of trouble. She'll take it into the front court.
Sometimes you forget that.
Oh, well, initially you kind of lose where you are on the floor. This is Rose for Layton.
She needs some help.
Indeed she does. Finds it in Hamill. Into the corner, Gillen. Throws up the 3 and hits.
She's been waiting to do that all night long.
Been trying to mark the distance, and she found it. And now Coach Frederick will spend the time out there. Got Leominster within 2, did Nevard, and then you go down floor. The response right away from Gillen. That's what good teams do. Hits the 3, 3:45 to play in the third. 19-14 is the Panther lead.
And I think that's a wise choice by Coach Frederick to take the time out there. They had gotten it within 2, and all of a sudden, you get that big 3 out of Quabbin, and you want to settle things down right away, taking that opportunity to try to make things happen.
Indeed, and as we see both coaches demonstratively over on the bench and enthusiastically having conversations out there, trying to, again, draw up what is going to develop here. Coach Barringer meeting in front of his bench with his team, kind of in the standing maneuver. Meanwhile, Coach Frederick has adopted the 1-knee approach. He's talking to all 5 of his players that are out on the floor actively at this time. 3:45 to play here in the third in a 5-point basketball game.
I think all we're going to get if I come over here is I can't see Coach Frederick too much. I got some zebras in the way.
Indeed. Grazing in the pasture.
That's
yes,
right.
indeed.
Zebras. we should just commentate that.
Turn this into a National Geographic,
That's right.
if you will. I mean, you've got Panthers and Blue Devils.
Zebras meandering around midcourt. Gallivanting during the break. I'll stop because it's not a good job.
Actually, not
No,
bad.
it's terrible. Don't encourage me at all. None of the viewers want to hear it or see it.
Todd Robbins joined by Steve Irwin Robbins. Happy to have you along
Not even
with
the right
us.
gender. Okay, you couldn't even go Bindi. You had to
Bindi,
go
all right,
Steve.
we'll go Bindi Irwin. Yeah, but the voice wasn't Bindi. The runner and a block called on Nevard. 3:45 to play here in the third, and Nevard's got a chance for 2 shots at the line.
I think we're overtired. I've decided.
No, not at all. Not at all. So happy to have all of you out there joining us wherever you are tonight, from Barry Center to Monument Square in Leominster and all points in between. As Nevard misses the first and then shakes it off Taylor Swift style.
You are off the rails tonight.
No, references galore. Hey, I describe the action I see. Nevard called for the lane violation again. Ball back to Quabbin.
Coach Frederick raising his eyebrows at that. Interesting. Of course, we don't have an angle, so we're not going to comment.
Well, the last thing from our perspective that you're ever watching is the foot of the shooter. That is one of many things, not the most important from our perspective we'd be watching. It's Rose, drops it off for Gillen, a 3. Yes!
She's hit back to back now. Don't let them get hot like that. If you're Leominster, can't afford to have a shooter like Gillen get hot from the perimeter.
Nevard for McDonald. She went up and down with it. Ball back to Quabbin. Self-inflicted wounds all around. 3:14 to play here in the third. A 22-14 Quabbin advantage.
Right now, you can see Quabbin's confidence starting to gain. They look like they're having a little bit more fun out there. Passing, getting a little bit crisper.
Doyle threw it away to Nevard, who makes the save on the baseline. Outlets this time for Smith. Doyle reached across, tipped it out. Leominster stays with the basketball. 21 to shoot, 2:55 to play here in the third. Great to have those of you joining us, not just here on Rivalry Family Media, but with our partners at Leominster TV as well. Game available in replay, Comcast, and Verizon across the city of Leominster. Leominster.tv for more information. 3-pointer away from Nevard, won't go. Hard off the side rim. Rebound for Layton. Out of trouble they go. This is Doyle to the near side, Rose. Corrals back to Doyle. Feet moves first. She's not happy, but she knows she did it. 2:29 to play here in the third. Smith over the head. Playing catch with Boulay. She is trapped.
Boulay is just pirouetting.
Yeah, she still had her dribble, so she realized it and took it out of trouble, but then had it poked away by Doyle. Doyle's got that ability to just time the hand in there right to break up the play.
I'm calling it now. I think Boulay has ballet experience.
That's entirely possible. Loose ball to Doyle. The jumper won't go. Crashing for the rebound. Layton reels it in and then lays it in to follow.
It's too easy for Layton to be able to come crash in on that board, get the rebound, and then put it back up. Far too easy.
Drive, Pompey might have gotten warded off, but that ball got knocked away nonetheless. And all of a sudden, what was a lead that varied from and as close to 2 is now 10. Shot away for Rose, short off the front rim, Marwa. Final 90 seconds of the third.
And you could feel it about halfway through this quarter. You could feel it was make or break time. That Quabbin coming out into the third quarter took just a moment to really get things going, and Leominster was staying there. They were step for step with Quabbin, and it was one of those situations where you could just feel it. Was the tide going to turn in Quabbin's favor, or was Leominster going to remain in step with them? And then a few unforced errors, Quabbin gets its confidence, and like you said, that lead is now 10.
And a couple of last-second substitutions for Coach Barringer, and away we go.
Around the back.
Yeah, that was Rose. Bounced it loose to Doyle.
We're getting fancy.
1:18 to play here in the third.
I could only
Olsen
aspire to
playing
do
catch.
that.
Around to Doyle, a three. Front rim high, no. Leighton rebound. Leighton just trying to find the handle, gets the fork stabbed into it. Ball bounces loose to the near side, it's Olsen. And Olsen walked with it.
I don't know who was on the far side, but what a beautiful pass along the baseline, that bounce pass. Absolutely beautifully executed by Quabbin there.
Final minute of the third quarter. This is Pompey. Runner. Everybody to the floor. Hamill out with it.
There's almost nobody to get the basketball.
I was gonna say. This is Rose. For Hamill. Plays catch, top of the key, Rose. Three away, bang! 27-14, 30 seconds to play here in the third.
And the three-point shot, that's gonna be kind of what became Quabbin's lifeblood here in the third quarter. They've had 3 of them, almost back to back to back, not on successive possessions, but.
Well, when you feel, Kate, that of course you've been getting a 2-for-1 or a 3-for-1 opportunity because Leominster hasn't been able to take advantage of too many opportunities, then you can hit a consecutive set of threes. It feels like they've been one right on top of the other. .24 4/10 to play here in the third. The shot clock will remain off. Boulay at the line, second of 2. Missed it right, Hamill the rebound. Rose for Leighton. Around back top of the key, this is Hamill. Poked away by Tresoloni. Got deflected so Hamill could go back and play it from the backcourt. Then poked away from behind. Hamill rolls out of the way and the loose ball finds its way to Pompey. Then Boulay and no shot. No shot. The basket goes in, but it is waved off by the official, and it is waved off correctly.
Yes, rightly
that
so.
ball is still in Forsberg's hand. No replay required to know it was still on the palm when the horn went off.
Yep. That's the right call.
End of the third quarter here from the gym at Leominster High School. Quabbin 27, Leominster 14. Third quarter of action certainly saw a better flurry of action, but for Leominster, still not on the right side of said flurry.
Things quieting down now with both coaching staffs. Quabbin's coaching staff over in the huddle, much less demonstrative now, just keeping them calm, doing their thing.
Well, now, Kate, you've reached the point. You know, I'm sure if you're Coach Barringer, he had to have said at some point, whether it was at the halftime mass break or during that timeout in the third quarter, the reality in this situation is the longer you let a team hang around, the more likely it is that they're going to come over top.
Yeah.
And they came pretty darn close, did Leominster. They closed it to within 2. Never reached the equalizer. Never took it over the top in the third quarter.
Yeah.
Now they find themselves down a far more significant number.
Correct.
And with the way this game has gone through 3 quarters, it feels a bit like Paramount Mountain to get to the top of at this point.
The only thing, again, if you're the Quabbin coaching staff, to see just how long it took your team to really ramp things up, you're wondering, were they a little too complacent in warm-ups? This is one of those things where, if you're a coaching staff and you know the entirety of the first half is not, number one, to your liking, nor was it representative of the type of basketball that you've played for the entire season, you kind of have to do the mental, okay, what happened? Did we come in cold? What were we doing? What did our warm-up look like? Were we walking around? Were we complacent coming off the bus? Because that was very atypical first half for Quabbin, and so those are the types of things, if you're the Quabbin coaching staff, you probably need to kind of rethink, like what at the beginning, what did our warm-up look like today? Because we were not awake.
And Boulay walked with it. Ball back to Quabbin. 7:48 to play in the fourth.
This is markedly different basketball that we're seeing in this end of the third quarter from Quabbin than we saw in the entirety of the first half. Markedly different.
I would agree. There's the giveaway, though. Rose went a little out of the reach of Doyle. Sure passing. That has been probably the thing most absent on both sides of the basketball tonight, Kate, is passes that are going to find their mark. It feels a little like a fling and hope.
that's been the bugaboo for a lot of the teams. I think Fitchburg is probably the one team that we've seen be incredibly crisp on the girls' side of Pod 6 with their passing. I think tonight is an anomaly for Quabbin. I don't necessarily think that this is the norm for them, considering how dominant they've been in the vast majority of their games, and having seen that they've split with Fitchburg and seeing what Fitchburg has done to Leominster when Leominster played them earlier in the season. So it's going to be very interesting to see. Like you said, need those crisp passes out of all the teams, and that has been the bugaboo that we've seen game after game after game for a lot of the teams in the girls' side of Pod 6.
Going simply, Kate, on body of work thus far than what we've seen, now having seen every team in Pod 6, Fitchburg has been the most systematically prepared basketball team, given the difficulty of this season.
And I think, again, I don't necessarily think that this game is representative of Quabbin's body of work for the other part of the season. I think this may have been one of those anomalies. Last game of the regular season, you know that you're, close to the very top. You know you're going to have a home game in the pod playoffs. Let's kind of just, get to practice, get to the playoffs type situation. I don't necessarily think that this is representative of their body of work. So I don't want to make a judgment on that. Fitchburg, for what we saw out of Fitchburg, incredibly impressive.
From bus to final horn.
Yep. They were here.
Yeah, Coach Paul DiGeronimo's squad certainly did do business against Leominster just a couple of weeks ago, and I like their chances going into this pod playoff. Into the corner, this is Forsberg. Got bumped by Rose. 6:27 to play here in the fourth, a 27-14 score. And Coach Rusty Frederick wants to talk things over. 6:27 left here in the fourth. Quabbin 27, Leominster 14.
Both teams with 2 timeouts left, I believe. Fouls. Well, I gotta correct one of the fouls, but fouls a non-factor right now, for the most part. Here. Most of the whistles have been turnovers, unforced errors in a lot of cases. So that'll be very interesting to see, because fouls have been pretty much at a premium and even on both sides. Quabbin coaching staff getting a little bit more animated over here. I think he's probably just imploring them, play your brand of basketball.
Absolutely.
Play to the level that I know that you're capable, because I'm not seeing it right now. And if you're the coaching staff for Quabbin, you know that you need to be playing your best basketball right now. So I think that's probably what they're trying to implore the girls to give them. And it's so difficult, having coached at the high school level. And I've coached girls, and a teenager, boy or girl, everything is you're dealing with emotions. We're dealing with a pandemic. We're dealing with February vacation coming up, which is, not necessarily traditionally something that basketball players are used to having off, but it's just this very strange time in the world. And you're asking a lot of these athletes just to kind of strap on the sneakers every day and come to the hard court. But rebound there for Quabbin. Back on the offensive end. Leominster not able to get anything really going on the scoring end again, Todd.
Indeed, they have not. Tapping into our friends out at Quabbin High School tonight, we're going to try to get an update from the boys' action out there. I'm just trying to get a good look at the scoreboard that they've got. The turnaround shot won't go this time for Layton, and the ball will roll out of bounds. This is Rose for Doyle. Tip through the center of the lane, rolls back to the top of the key. This is Hamill.
Ooh.
And a push off the action there as Pompey bounces
we've got
Rose.
a score right here coming in. Thank you, Facebook Live.
Thank you so much. That's Mary Corey Whitelaw with the assist there. Much appreciated. 49-38, Quabbin on top of Leominster. 3:32 to play in the fourth in that one.
Any of our friends, Fitchburg girls side of the ball, our side of the world know what the Fitchburg-Narragansett score is in girls Pod 6 action. That'd be awesome to get to.
Indeed it would.
Because that has a huge effect for Quabbin tonight, because right now, if both Quabbin and Fitchburg win, it would go to a traditional tiebreak, but we don't even know. Word is that because
a tiebreak is old as time, Kate, as long as there's been coins.
There might be a coin toss situation happening to determine first place in Pod 6. Woo. Bodies splayed.
Bodies everywhere.
Yep.
5:02 to play in the fourth. 27-14, Quabbin's lead feels commanding.
And so that Fitchburg score is going to be imperative to get.
First one goes for Hamill.
Oh, wrong side. There we go. I'm on the struggle bus.
Nah, hang in there.
Not surprising, though.
Bill Thomas still on assignment.
Kate Robbins doing 17 things.
I was going to say, Kate doing 17, trying to assist where I can. Hamill second will go as well. 29-14, 5 to play here in the fourth. Cudahy for Nevard, and Nevard walked with it, stepping through the defense.
Woo.
Basketball given away right away there. McDonald steps in front of it.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, Nevard avoids the jump from Hamill as she tried to jump the passing lane. Cross, Forsberg. Forsberg for Marwa. Stripped on the way up by Doyle. Doyle and Marwa is such a fascinating matchup, Kate. Both freshmen, you have to imagine both played the youth circuit against one another.
Ooh, Marwa runs into a wall.
Yeah, and this one was McCready thrown off balance, but Gillen gets a look at it, and Gillen hits it.
I think if we're going to have an MVP, I'd give it to Gillen for Quabbin. Her prolific perimeter passing in the second half, and she's been a force to be reckoned with in the paint on defense. So not that we're giving out those type of accolades because we have no power to do so. I'm just, off the cuff here.
Commenting based on the action you're seeing. 3:54 to play here in the fourth. 32-14, Quabbin's lead over Leominster.
I can at least give you kudos.
This is Marwa. Had it tipped away to the floor, and Marwa's called for the foul. Marwa was the basketball handler, then lost the ball, then got tied up, went to the ground, and got called for a foul.
Yeah, well, stranger things have happened. She did drive the lane and forget the basketball.
There was part of that, yes indeed.
Oh boy.
McCready got behind the defense and lays it in.
And I think this is the type of offensive production that they are used to seeing on their end. But again, cannot wait a full half and partway through the third quarter.
Down the lane, Pompey found Marwa, who lays it in and good, and Coach Frederick will spend a timeout, stopping the clock, 3:17 to play in the fourth, and a 34-16 lead.
Can you take a look at the scores throughout the schedule and see the lowest point total that Quabbin has given up?
Least amount of points that Quabbin has allowed was against Gardner. It was 13 on opening night.
Opening night, okay. And their average is what?
Their average allowed?
Yeah.
33.1.
Okay, so Leominster well below that.
Indeed they are. As we take a look at after that 13 points, next closest, lowest mark that Quabbin's defense has allowed, 26 at Oakmont, middle of the season.
Okay.
Meanwhile, for Leominster, their least total output, 18 in the first game against Fitchburg, a loss. 27, make it 23 in their last game against Quabbin on Monday night.
One of the things I think that I think is at least fair to bring up, I think part of the significance of the low score that you're seeing, I think I'm going to give it a 50-50 percentage. I think 50% of it has to do with Quabbin's defensive efficiency, but I think that the other 50% has been the number of unforced errors by Leominster on offense as well, and their inability to really get anything going on offense. Not a lot of offense production. Like you said, that idea, there's been no flow for Leominster. We saw it for about 45 seconds in the third quarter, but beyond that, there's been no offensive flow for Leominster.
Doyle rifles it into Layton.
My knees hurt.
Yeah, floor burn all around, held ball back to Leominster.
Yep. Oh, I can feel that burn.
I was going to say.
I can feel the burn for her.
Update from out in Barrie tonight. Lead has increased for the Panthers, 51-42. Quabbin boys over Leominster
I
boys.
estimate that tonight would have been almost a must-win. And when we were talking to Coach Crutchfield after their narrow victory over Quabbin earlier in the week, he knew if they played like that again, they were not going to win. And so right now, potentially, you're seeing some of that go on again. Obviously, we're not there, but
prophetic, certainly, based on our post-game interview.
He was incredibly candid about it. He said it directly to us. If we play like that, that was an ugly win for them earlier in the week, and if they played like that again, they were not going to be able to win that game. And they need it. They need it badly.
This one will not go either for Nevard. 0 of 2 on the trip, 2:40 to play here in the fourth.
Because Leominster right now on the boys' side of the pod, they're in the 2 seed, but is it a precarious 2 seed, Todd?
Indeed it is.
Yeah.
I mean, when you look at the fact that Leominster are 5-2 record, they lose tonight, they'll be 5-3 going into a game against Oakmont on Saturday.
Undefeated Oakmont?
Battle for the rebound held. Alternate possession goes to Quabbin. That is correct as of this moment. An undefeated Oakmont team who was playing at Gardner tonight.
Yep. So Leominster needing that W on the boys' side tonight. And right now, I think, like you said, prophetic words from Coach Crutchfield earlier in the week. Leominster really needing to step it up, and I don't know that they did tonight.
It seems to be a problem all around.
Nevard, what did I do?
Is that gum that just hit the floor? Something popped off of a player. And it's either chewing gum or something. It is right around where that
I see
volleyball restricted line is there, Kate.
I'm not going to zoom in, but I see it.
Ball kept alive, battle on the baseline, thrown back in by Layton. And a foul given back in. Yeah.
Zoom in now. What do we got? Oh, he almost died.
I was going to say, we've had a couple that have.
What do we got? What is that? I don't know.
Not entirely certain.
It doesn't belong there.
There were a couple of players that hit the floor right in that general area at the last stoppage in play.
Looks like a Cadbury egg.
And I was going to say, I'm not sure. Somebody with the Easter candy already? No. Ball tipped through the middle of the lane, tied up. Marwa and Doyle, there they are again. Held ball battle, alternate possession. Right back it goes to Leominster.
A molar? I don't know.
Shannon Smith will check back in.
If we could get somebody's attention, if anybody would ever, nobody's going to pay attention to us if we start waving about the item on the court.
I would say at this point, they've been listening to us, Kate, for about 5 weeks. It's the only real noise other than the teams are generating in the gym at this point in time.
Nobody's listening to us, so we would ask them to pick it up if we could get their attention, but we cannot.
This is Marwa down the lane. And that one won't go. Foul called. 2 shots coming up from Marwa. Here's the thing that I've come to note, and I know Coach Frederick is going to be working on this in practice. Touch. Touch around the rim is an absolute must. You are not going to fire it with all your might off that glass and get any kind of a positive result.
When you hear about it in athletics, all around, you hear about it a lot in sports like football, which I know we primarily cover in the fall. You have to be able to have a litany of different passes in football. Touch, you have to be able to send it down the field. Same thing in all disciplines, baseball, softball, basketball. Every ball sport that there is, you need to be able to have touch.
Ball bounces to the near side, loose. This is Rose. 1:45 to play here in the fourth. Leominster's in the bonus the rest of the way.
Oh, I should probably write that down. There we go. Boom. That's code for
Bouncing ball, it's Doyle.
Katie, pay attention.
Down the lane, Hemmel, the step around lay-in is good. Actually, it wasn't. It was a reset. On the alternate possession, by the way, will favor Leominster again, according to the arrow. Back down the lane, this is Marwa. Held ball.
We got a final out of Fitchburg. Fitchburg beat Gansett 59-29. That came from their YouTube Live.
Well,
excellent.
Thank you so much.
Johnny on the spot.
Mary Whitelaw has done a phenomenal job tonight. Another one of our intrepid reporters out there tonight. This is, again, why I love this medium.
So that means Fitchburg has done its job. They've done everything that they can do to try to secure that #1 spot. Quabbin right now well on their way to doing their job with just 1 minute and 18 seconds left. So this very could potentially come down to a coin toss. Likely, I'm assuming, tomorrow. I
was going to say, they've got to figure this out fairly quickly, although the game is not until next Tuesday, so they certainly have some time. Up floor, in the lane, Young.
Oh, yes, that's exactly what an athletic director wants to do, is get together on a weekend, a February vacation, to flip a coin.
I was going to say, that one won't go.
Can they do it on Zoom?
I doubt it. Although some social distancing precautions got to be taken. Ball's tipped and out of bounds. Last touched by Marwa. Panther basketball. 49 and 2/10 seconds to play here in the fourth.
And again, the primary tiebreaker, the head-to-head matchup, Quabbin and Fitchburg splitting their head-to-head matchups this year. So that tiebreaker not eligible to be used. So presumably, presumably that means that they would go to a coin toss.
That would be the next most logical thing in a small pod. Marwa rips it away. About a 10-second differential, shot clock to game clock. Tresoloni with the drive at the foul line. Flings it up, got it on the rim. That's not gonna go. Ball out, tipped loose, back top of the key. This is Smith. Exactly 10 seconds split in that shot clock to game clock now. Around it goes and down. 15 seconds to play here in the fourth. Down floor, into the corner. That one won't go, off the mark. And the ball brought down.
There.
Yes, indeed. Back down floor, Boulay, the runner, and it will not go. 36-17, Quabbin's the winner tonight. They improved their overall record to 8-1. We know that Fitchburg picks up the victory. They improve to 8-1, thanks to Mary Whitelaw's reporting. Fitchburg a 59-29 win in Gansett tonight. So 2 8-1 teams, top pod 6. Exactly who will be 1 and who will be 2? That stands to be a decision that we will find out somewhere over the next few days. Either way, Leominster will finish in the 3rd position. They will take on whomever gets that 2 seed. So it means it's either a trip to Barrie to play Quabbin once again, or a trip to Fitchburg to take on the arch rival at Doug Grudgefield Fieldhouse in Fitchburg. George Allen asking the question du jour. George says, why a coin flip? Theoretical. Point differential, head-to-head. Hang on, we're going to see a little bit more from George. Average points a game, defensive points allowed. George, I think those are all fantastic suggestions. I agree with you, and I approached this very question tonight with Athletic Director Dave Palazzi here, and I asked him what the discussions had been, and they said in a small pod, they had concerns over whether point differential or head-to-head, which may be the first option, but point differential in particular, they were concerned with using that as one of the options somewhere along the way. So point differential, we're told, is out. Head-to-head is split in this pod. So Fitchburg and Quabbin played in the 2nd set of matchups during the year back on January 18th and 21st. The first meeting between the 2 teams was a Fitchburg win on the road, a 57-45 win, and then Quabbin went down to the Doug Grudgefield Fieldhouse and won in Game 2 on Thursday night that week by 10, a 43-33 mark. So they have split perfectly the head-to-head matchups. So if head-to-head's not going to work for you because you've already split, that means you have very few ways that you can go about doing things. But the most logical way to go about doing things in this head-to-head variety will be, without question, the coin toss, we're told, which is the most logical choice or opportunity. We see the players have made their way over to the near side. As Kate is heading down to chat with the players. It looked like a potential senior night, but instead, it appears to be the young ladies coming over and saying thank you to them as well. That was very nice of them. Kate, I was expecting a senior night. Bill is on assignment. That's so nice of them. Thank you very much to those folks, their families. That is far too kind for them to come over and say thank you. Thank you is certainly good enough as far as we're concerned, Kate. As you had the opportunity to go down. I couldn't hear what they said as I was busy talking playoffs.
They said they wanted to thank me and Billy for all of our work. We're not done covering them. So
I was going to say, we're not going anywhere for a while.
We're not going anywhere, but that's incredibly nice of them, very, very thoughtful. It's incredibly important for us to be able to have the opportunity to cover their games. Again, Todd and I, although we are married, we are not fortunate enough to be parents at this point in time in our lives, and so although we can't directly relate to what the parents are going through, I was a high school and collegiate athlete. My parents were able to come to every single game.
Yep.
And I wasn't able to necessarily appreciate that until my adulthood. But understanding the connections that parents have with these young ladies and these young men that play in high school sports, and even having the thought that you can't be at a game for your children, it was a no-brainer for you and I to try to do as many of these games as we possibly could. And so that's why we come and do this every single night that they have a game right now in winter, and the same thing in the fall, and we'll keep trying to do it for fall too. And in the spring, we try to get to as many places as we possibly can, because we know how important a service is to be able to bring these games to the parents and to the families, and it's our honor and our pleasure to be able to do so. And so, as you said, a thank you is more than enough, and that is incredibly thoughtful on behalf of all the girls. So we very much appreciate it, and we're excited. We still got more basketball for the girls to play.
Indeed we do. Indeed we do.
We're not done yet, and Coach Frederick coming over right now as well.
Indeed. Well, we'll just keep right on rolling here as we continue through our coverage. Coach Rusty Frederick heads on over to our courtside broadcast position to join up with us. For those of you that are joining us on Leominster TV, they're going to keep right on rolling, I think, with us. Or are you going to say goodbye?
Oh, did we say goodbye?
Bradley's still with us, so we're gonna just keep right on rolling.
Did you forget to say
we were
bye?
kind of in the midst of everything that's been going on.
Oh,
so Coach is here.
We're sorry, Bradley.
Yeah, my apologies. Bradley's gonna hang with us for a moment here. And Leominster head coach Rusty Frederick joins us here courtside now. And Coach, great to have you over here. A 36-17 loss tonight is not the way you wanted to go into the pod playoffs, so to speak. And I think if we were to kind of put a finger on it, try to put a mark on what is the thing that is most challenging at this moment in time, it feels like scoring, translating those great defensive plays into points right now is just not working.
It's a struggle for us right now. We struggle to score points, and we couldn't really solve the 1-3-1. We just got to move the ball quicker and see the court. And then early on, we had a ton of layups that we missed, and we have to hit those. I mean, most of those layups early on were uncontested, and we need someone to step up.
And that opportunity, feels so needed. So, and you just felt like there was a moment. There was a moment there in the third quarter where it was finally coming together, and it felt like for about a 45-second run, everything clicked. And then shortly thereafter, there's a giveaway, there's a steal, there's a giveaway. How much did the way the game kind of develop, the momentum of the game, the lack of flow that Kate pointed out at some points throughout the broadcast, how much did that influence the inability for the team to really find a rhythm out there?
Yeah, it was real hard. I mean, it was a struggle both sides. We really need it to be a struggle. We have to fight defensively. I thought we did a good job, for the most part, and they went on a little run in the second half. But when you can't score, it starts to get builds and builds and builds. And we've had these moments this year that we go a long stretch without scoring points.
Yeah, and although clearly areas to work on, and it clearly from a coaching standpoint, that aspect of the game frustrating, you can, and I'd like you to speak to the fact, keeping themselves in a game against the top seed in the pod really does show the parity, although it may not feel like it when you look at the records every single game. You're like, wow, Quabbin, they're doing a really nice job. There is parity in the pod, and there is something to be said. Hey, these games are ripe for the taking.
Oh, they are. I mean, we're going to go at this 100%, and we're going to work hard, and I believe we're going to win games. And so that we're going in with the mindset that we're going to win. When we hit the floor, if we execute and play a little tougher and hang in there a little stronger, and we should be all right. I mean, if we hit a few shots, anything can happen, really. And they're quite capable of hitting shots. But it's just, you have to believe. You know, when you shoot it, you're just not getting rid of the ball. You know, you got to take on the contact. You got to, you know, you can tell the upperclassmen on the other team how, you know, the ripping of the ball, the going after a rebound aggressively and going back up strong. I mean, those are great examples that I can show my team that look what they did, how that one person went after it, and you know, she's a hell of a player, that number 35.
Yeah, that's Ashley Layton. Certainly played a phenomenal game tonight, Coach, and you're right on the money with that. The good news, if you can find good news at this point in time, is coming into the night, third place was pretty much bronzed with your name on it. There wasn't really a way to escape third place. This was where you were going to finish in the pod, win or loss tonight. So here you are in third. You know you're going on the road next week on Tuesday. The question of the opponent, it's either going to be Fitchburg, who won tonight, or Quabbin, who also obviously won tonight. So both teams finish at 8-1. They'll sort out that tie. You get whoever finishes in the second position. Neither game is, you know, an enviable position. Both were losses, but a great opportunity to, you know, have to go on the road, take on a team, and that team is going to be faced with the option of, or the need to, beat you for a third time this year.
Right.
Winning twice is one thing. Winning 3 times in a year is awfully difficult.
Yeah, we're due to have a breakout game, really, against a quality opponent. We're hanging in there, and then it gets away. But one of these times, we're going to go over the top, and, you know, I believe we have a chance at this whole thing. So that's my mindset. I'm going to get that team into that mindset, and we have to believe in each other and just keep going, plugging away.
There's been no quit, Coach, throughout the entirety of this season, and that speaks volumes about a team.
Thank
and
you.
now we do know, obviously, there needs to be a decision made as to who's going to get the 1 and who's going to get the 2 seed. So, you know, we know there's a little bit of speculation relative to the mode, the way that that's going to happen. Do you know when you're going to find out who your opponent is?
I'll have to stop making some calls tonight.
Call people up. Call them up.
The way I look at it, we have to beat both teams, right?
Yep.
Or one of the 3. And then, you know, I'm going to prepare for, you know, Fitchburg, Quabbin. I know it's one of those 2 teams, so.
Coach Frederick's going to get his staff. He's going to have multiple binders. This is the Fitchburg stuff. This is
Leave the
Quabbin
computer
stuff.
out.
This is
All right?
2 days of practice, correct? You've got practice opportunity tomorrow, practice opportunity Monday, game on Tuesday?
Yeah, so we'll go tomorrow, Saturday.
Oh, we're getting a weekend practice.
All right.
We're getting a weekend.
Don't tell anyone we're sneaking in. Is this on TV?
No,
Yes.
just
Yes.
around the world
Yeah.
this moment in time.
Yeah, we're going outside Saturday.
All right, I like that. Hey, nice day. Predicting a nice day. Coach Rusty Frederick, thank you so much
Thank
for
you,
joining
Coach.
us courtside after this one. And hey, we'll talk to you next week in one capacity or another as we are going to be on that broadcast. Thanks to the great folks at Quabbin and hopefully through a partnership with Fitchburg as well. Wherever this game ends up, we'll be there bringing you that game.
I'll take all the fans I can get.
Thanks,
guys.
Coach. Thank you
been a
so
great
much.
season.
Appreciate it. As we continue on here courtside. First, Kate, before we get a final wrap.
Do you want to say bye to Bradley?
I do. I want to thank Bradley for his
Bradley's
indulgence.
already packed everything else but the camera. He's ready to go. He's like, what are you doing?
And I appreciate him hanging with us as we got a little discombobulated there at the conclusion. But thanks so much to our friends at Leominster TV. Once again, a final, Quabbin 36 and Leominster 17. For Kate Robbins, Bradley Bedard, I am Todd Robbins saying thank you so very much for joining us. And for those of you on Leominster TV, so long, everybody. We'll talk to you next week. For those of you joining us on Ravelry Family Media, we'll take a quick break. Step aside just for a matter of moments here. We'll continue on here courtside at the gym at Leominster High School, reset it all, fill in some of the gaps, and maybe even be able to guess our way through the bracket. Stay with us. We've got more fun to come. Streaming here on Facebook Live. This is RFM.